condition, I will make a covenant with you, that I may pop out all your right eyes and bring reproach on all Israel. Now that is a very strange condition to add into a contract. Yeah, I'll make a deal with you as long as I get your right eyeball. All of them. Why are they doing that? Well, look, in the ancient cultures, mutilation was extremely popular. If anyone here has read the book of Judges, you know what I'm talking about here. You see people cutting off thumbs, cutting off fingers, cutting off hands. But secondly, Nahash, he seems to be military-minded. He seems to be a leader within the Ammonite nation, whether he's king, whether he's a military leader, I don't know, but he's smart. And he's thinking, well, I'll make a deal with you, and I'll have peace with you as long as I get your right eye. So why? What's the brain and the genius behind that? Well, all these ancient cultures were trained to use their right eye in battle. All the soldiers, when they learned to shoot a bow and arrow, they would aim with their right eye. When they would have a shield in their left arm and they would have a sword in their right hand, they were to protect their body, but they would always have their right eye poking out over the shield so they could still attack and see their target and see their opponent. And so now he's thinking, well, hey, if I take out all their right eyes, they'll never be able to rebel, they'll never be able to revolt and stand against us and take me and my army out. So he's like, okay, fine. I'll make a peace covenant with you as long as I get your right eye. Now, that sounds a little messed up, though, doesn't it? Doesn't that sound a little twisted and wicked? It kind of sounds like something perhaps Satan, the serpent, would maybe say to us. And these are the kind of things that he says to us, right? He says, okay, listen, I'll make a covenant of peace with you as long as you give me something in return. I'm going to blind your sight. I'm going to make you no longer see things clearly. I'm going to make you weak. And then I'm going to make you a slave. And then he says, then I'll make you a reproach. And a reproach, it means to be a disgraceful, shameful thing. And that's exactly what happens when we make a covenant with the enemy. We become shameful, we become disgraceful, we end up doing things and saying things that we should never be doing nor saying. But I would much rather be in a covenant with God, right? It is God who says, I will have peace with man, and all I want in return is your heart. And I will love you. And there will be peace. And you're going to see things clearly for the way they are. And you're not going to be this shameful slave when you're in a covenant with me. But rather, you're going to be 100% free. And look, today, if you don't know Jesus Christ, in one sense or another, to some degree, you are in a covenant with Satan. He has made a deal with you in order for you to think that you have some type of peace in your life. He's given you a false sense of security, comfort in exchange for your spiritual sight. You know, the Bible even calls Satan the god of this age who has blinded the eyes. He loves to promise happiness. He loves to promise fulfillment and contentment in order, in exchange, for the spiritual sight. But you know what Jesus says about those who embrace sin and those who live in sin and make a covenant with sin? Jesus says, he who commits sin is a what? Is a slave to sin. If you're living in sin